Good morning, Bree.
Good morning, Jesse.
Thank you for joining us. Those who are joining us as we get started here, it has been an interesting morning to say the least.
We were hoping the rain would hold off a little longer. It's not a downpour, but you might notice we're not out on the veranda. Like usual, we got shoved inside. Oh, was that lightning?
That was some lightning there.
This is going to be an adventure today, guys. So, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
Yeah. If you cannot tell, weather is not our friend today. This is the Yukon Gear and Axle Northern Rock Racing Series, race number 1.
Yes.
Sponsored by Thunder and Lightning, presented by Mickey Thompson Tires, and we are at Wildcat Off-Road Park. And I have to say, if there was a park that I was going to be at to have to go through this, the production trailer's in a good spot. I cannot say the same for the spectators. The spectators are kind of roughing it a little bit.
I hope everybody brought their umbrellas and their rain coats and ponchos.
I hope you brought your waders. I hope you're ready.
Rubber boots, all of it. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting day of racing, guys. We've got a really great course lined out. If you watched yesterday's action with the UTVs, then you got to see, the hillside, and that's the same area we'll be racing on today, but definitely, got to change things up and keep our UTV bounty and bouncer drivers challenged.
It is going to be... so I got the word. We're going to kick straight into racing. Try not to let this weather tear us down here. Keep everybody safe, however. And if you can't hear in the background, that is Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Very timely music. And if you cannot tell, that looks like... Let me get my book set up here.
Trent?
That's Trent Radcliffe.
And Josh or whoever that is.
Yeah, we got Trent Radcliffe on the line. And if you can't tell, we've got drivers lined up. We've got umbrellas popped up. The water is coming. It is here. The really interesting thing, there's a great shot of just the rain coming down.
We mentioned that we are back with Eagle Eye Productions.
Absolutely.
This time. Or rather, he's back with us and going to give us some great views today.
Now, we built that jump last night, actually, to give drivers a little bit more spice, but the weather is here to spice it up even more. So if you can't tell, the constant rain is going to change this course big time. That little rock ledge is already showing us that these rocks are...
Isn't that awesome?
These rocks are going to be really slick. And this climb right here was no slouch yesterday. Today it's going to be even harder.
So this is our UTV bounty class. We ran stock class and the unlimited cup class yesterday. So these guys are racing on the same hill that the big bouncers will be on.
You're going to have to get a better run out than that, brother.
So if you're not 100% familiar with the off-road space, it looks like Trent Radcliffe has a broken front axle there. Yeah.
It's supposed to be hanging down like that.
No, it's not, but I can tell you that it takes quite a bit to break an axle like that. So, little unfortunate luck for Trent Radcliffe, and hopefully that does not mean our day is going to be filled with DNFs. But just a quick reminder, if you're not familiar with the off-road space, whenever you see the smoke coming off the tires, that's because the tires are heating up on those rocks, and it actually will make wow, he is absolutely giving it everything he's got. But drivers will heat those tires up today. You're going to see a lot of that because when they get hot, the compound seems to get a little bit softer. They're a little bit sticky, as we like to call them. And when the rocks are a little warmed up too, it definitely helps. But today's going to be a great day.
All the warming up that they can get with that rain that is just flowing down this hill right now.
I'll tell you this, for a 3-wheel drive, one thing that people don't really understand is, especially in a UTV, when one axle breaks, it's really detrimental to your performance. So the fact that Trent was even able to make it up to that point there, quite impressive. Now, if I remember correctly, Trent's 16.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is absolutely crazy to have our first driver of the day, 16 years old, and going out there and just letting it all hang loose.
All right, and that is a time limit for Trent. But he doesn't know that, so he's going to give it one more go.
That was weak. Come on, that's enough.
I think he did everything he could on this hill in 3-wheel drive in the rain and the mud.
So I'll tell you this: there's a time and place for the rain and mud, and just so happens to be today. Now I'll tell you this: I'm a huge fan. I'm a big fan of these kind of races, because what it does is it takes these courses where yesterday guys were getting a 39, a 40-second run on this hill course, and I think we're going to see a lot of DNFs. I think we're going to see a ton of a minute.
This 100% changes the course
drastically.
Right now. Yeah.
Drastically. So I think we're going to start seeing minutes, minute and a half, if you know, someone really has to back up and try it again a couple times. But I love this kind of racing. Takes a moderate difficulty course and turns it into a black diamond very quickly.
Justin Mitchell on the line.
Justin Mitchell on the line.
Whose camera is that?
John, see if you can play with your focus. It's out of focus a little bit. Probably Justin Mitchell on the line. Clock is hot.
We've got a pretty good lineup for the bounty class today. We had several late entries.
13 drivers, 15 drivers.
We had our own Zach Garner out building that jump on the course after yesterday's race was over. We decided to change things up a little bit.
And I got to hand it to these drivers. You know, not only is it raining on them, but it's about 40 degrees here. I can see our breath in the trailer. It's pretty amazing. These guys are out here. And absolutely awesome for Justin Mitchell. He is just about out of the top.
There it is.
Very nice work.
35388. All right, guys, now that we have our first time of the day on Hill 1, what are the predictions? What do you think is going to be the fastest time, and who do you think the driver will be?
Now, I'll tell you this, and it has to be said. Justin Mitchell sitting in first place right now. Fastest time of the day. Pretty amazing. Congratulations, Justin Mitchell. You can say at one point in any given day, fastest time of the day, first place.
All right, this is Jerry Gray on the line.
So this is a newcomer, if I recall correctly.
He's raced with us a couple times.
Right. But he's not. Oh man, absolutely ate the ground there.
Landing.
I can hear that blow-off valve from here just whistling at us. That's a great shot just to show you that this rain is not letting up. These drivers, you can see him messing with his visor. Unfortunately, when the rain comes, the visor's got to be up. So you're just getting wet, water's in your eyes, and sometimes that visor comes down and lays it right in front of your face.
Mud splatter in the face, rain in the face, a foggy visor. Things get messy real
absolutely. Because especially, I mean, you know, if that visor does fall down and you breathe like these guys are breathing in there, this is a stressful situation when you're in that car. Instant fog in the visor. Can't see anything. Yep. And it looks like Mr. Jerry Gray.
Nothing is more frustrating when you're trying to make your way up a hill and you got to keep flipping up your visor, and then you're getting mud in your eyes.
Absolutely.
Looks like he got himself out of that little pickle there and is making it right out the top.
Awesome.
67.345 for Jerry.
Now, I will say something that's super underlooked is minor details like that for racers. You know, just racing equipment, things like that. I know when I did my long-distance endurance race, I fought my visor the entire time.
Yes.
And it was so frustrating.
It is, because you really need both hands on the wheel when you're doing, especially an endurance race. You're going as fast as you can. I mean, any kind of race. You don't want to be having to mess with anything.
Every time I hit a rock, which was a lot, my visor would fall down, and it was just unfortunate. But I was able to finish the race. I think I jammed it up there so hard that it just stayed eventually. But on course, we have Wes Keene and his X3 buggy.
Keene, and it looks like his visor is up.
Yes. And I'll tell you this, clear difference here. Those tires are ripping the ground to pieces. I think that he's actually running Super Grip ATV K9s, and I got a chance to look at him. It is amazing what Wes Keene can do.
Wes pulled off a first place in the Unlimited class yesterday.
The Unlimited Cup Series.
32.010 for Wes. All right, do we have any of those predictions for what our fastest time will be on Hill 1? And yeah, you might have noticed or heard me say yesterday and also today, I'm having a little trouble with my feed staying loaded. So if you guys are asking questions or anything like that, and we're not answering you, it's not because we're ignoring you. I'm just not really able to see everything that great right now. How's the feed looking on your end, guys?
If it looks good now, all this
Yeah, well,
we're
just
doing
come back
something.
down through the cave.
Clyde said, if it looks good right now with all these clouds out here, we're doing something right.
That's right.
We're getting lucky. It's our day.
Clyde just said it's our day, and I couldn't agree more. We're out here racing the Yukon Gear and Axle Northern Rock Racing Series, race number 1, presented by Mickey Thompson at Wildcat Off-Road Park. Again, the weather is not favorable for us, but we are very excited to be here.
Josh, see if you can get yours to focus. He almost got done. I know the rain's probably affecting anything.
It looks like Cash LaCroix was on the line there, but it looks like Cash may be having some issues.
Uh-oh.
Now, I'll tell you this. I spoke with Cash's dad yesterday, and they're waiting on a tune from Polaris to get all those issues corrected. I know that in the last couple of races, Cash has had some issues. They're running an E85 tune. I mentioned that yesterday, that E85, when it's running, it just does some really special things to the motor. Really can push a lot of power out of there. But it really looks like Cash is having some technical difficulties on that. He's going to break the beam here. He's going to take off and give it the best he's got, but I expect that we'll see more engine issues as he begins to climb.
Yeah, Cash was not a happy camper after yesterday's race. And you can hear there that popping. Does not sound like a healthy motor right now. Cash was happy to see the 4 late entries that we had today, because that meant that he did not have to go first on this hill. Whenever we have late entries, and you guys might know this or might not, but then whoever has drawn number 1 then gets to choose if they want those late entries to go ahead of them or not. And a lot of guys do take that option. Nobody necessarily likes to be number 1 and have to be the first on the hill to to figure things out.
And Cash LaCroix makes it out the top. You know, definitely had some engine issues there, but glad that he was able to make it out, get a
5.2302. Hey, not bad. All
pretty good
things
time.
considered.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to put him in 3rd place right now, so I don't know if that time will stand 3rd place today, but awesome that he didn't get a DNF.
We got
Spencer Grindstaff is technically on the line here, but Levi Russell will be driving for Spencer today. So happy to have Levi standing in for Mr.
They told
Grindstaff.
me that Spencer decided to go to prom.
You know,
instead.
I just said Mr. Grindstaff there. Spencer went to prom, huh? Interesting. What's better than prom? Racing.
Oh,
Now, I can tell you that Levi is running Spencer's buggy, though. I do know that for sure. This is the same machine we saw Spencer race at Windrock earlier this year.
Come on.
Right under the seat too.
ouch.
You're looking a lot like Trent with that broke axle.
So that front left axle looks to be broken, but Levi is going to let it absolutely hang out here. Again, looks like another driver running those Super Grip tires, but when those tires are smoking like that, that should tell you just how fast those tires are spinning. These guys are out here hitting that rock ledge and, I mean, pedal to the floor. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of people that, quote-unquote, drive pedal to the floor. These guys are literally mashing it to the floor.
Who's our camera guy? There we go.
Sleep.
Who's taking a nap out there?
I got good
He's
news
looking
and
at the
bad
sponsors
news.
instead.
3 wheels are pulling good.
Tell Josh take
Man, with, like I said earlier, 3-wheel drive and a UTV, it's just amazing how much of an effect that has on the performance. So I'm not sure if we'll see Levi back down and just call it a day here and try and get that axle fixed and get ready for Hill 2, but he's going to go one more time.
I don't think he's ready to give up yet. Yeah, on a hill like this. Oh,
That's
no.
not what you want to see right there.
Wait. Wait. Nice. Stuck the landing.
Self-recovery.
Very nice. There's a name for that move. I forget the name of it. There's a gymnastics name for that move, but it looks like he was out there practicing just a little bit, and he's going to give it one more go.
Oh, Axel caught the rock.
Okay,
Ouch.
I got some worse news.
I'll tell you,
Yeah, that's
that Axel's it's
Caught the rock. Stop.
that Axel's telling him it's time to stop.
it's
But
like,
Levi is
please,
not-
please.
Levi is not
Can we
interested in
quit?
taking a break.
Hey, he came to race.
You know, I could be wrong. I believe that this machine is a rental.
Maybe
So,
that explains the
That
the
might
beat
explain
down.
why the abuse is happening here.
You know what? You get in a certain mindset though when you're racing and you're on a hill and you can't make it and you start to get a little ticked off, and then it's just like, you know what? I don't care what happens. We're doing it. It just gets in your head.
I have
you know?
not felt
think-
that. So I am on the flip side where, you know, if I break something, let's pull it off. Let's get it back for hill 2.
I have definitely felt that. Sometimes I've thought, man, I wish I had a GoPro in there to see what my face looked like
Yeah.
while I was, you know, trying to cuss this thing up the hill.
Absolutely. Now, I'll tell you this, as I've, you know, gotten a little older and gone through life a little more, I've learned that the less emotional you can be in situations like this, the better. If you can keep it together and stay stoic, it seems to help out a little bit, and definitely will help the wallet. So Levi Russell will get a DNF for hill number 1, but
Hey, he gets 10 points for perseverance, though.
I'll give him 15 for that little toilet he did at
There
the
you
top
go.
up there. But
Greg Meadows says the name for that move is luck.
yes, I like that. Now, no stranger to the hill here. This is Mr. Paul Wolf. If I'm not mistaken, this machine had a broken front diff yesterday,
Oh.
and definitely letting the ground have a piece of it as he keeps going. I will add that we had a professional build the jump today. Very exciting stuff. Mr. Zach Garner himself.
Zach's pretty pleased with his drums.
Now, it looks like that front end
no.
may not be pulling again. I would hate to think that the differential is broke again, but it looks like, I know I can see the front right not pulling. I'm not sure
I don't
about that
think
front
either
left.
anymore.
There we go. Up and over for Mr. Paul Wolf.
Oh, so close. There it is.
Right there, Paul.
Now, that is the definition of being of the determination.
52.165.
Definite version of determination right there. See, now that's a good example of when you get frustrated and you're just ready to get out of that hill, you can maintain it. I'll tell you, there's something about Can-Ams, just power to the ground. It's a little different. In a Polaris, you lose an axle and it's rough. Can-Am, obviously, you lose an axle, it's not the end of the world.
We got Travis Cooper.
Travis Cooper on the line.
Can these HDMI cords get wet, fine?
Not really.
Hey. Get wet.
Probably gonna take that one up.
The cord.
Where that plug is, we're probably gonna take it up.
Fine said to take it up where the plug is.
Travis Cooper is making really short work of this course here. Getting a little hang time there, but he's definitely squared back up.
Nice.
Out the top.
Oh.
36114, 36114.
36114 for Travis Cooper.
36114. Good run, Trav.
All right, our fastest time so far is Wes Keene with a 32.0, followed now by, let's see, Justin Mitchell with a 35.3, and Travis Cooper with a 36.1.
Wade Good off the line. Now, if there's somebody that's going to let it all hang out, Wade is one of those guys.
Now he is driving the rental buggy, not to be confused with a rental buggy. It is the rental. Nice. It's gonna be a good time.
So I'll say this while you're getting that time.
3.2257. He just snuck in there behind Wes King's 3.2.0.
In racing, you know, you want to get from point A to point B the fastest, and to do that, it's typically a straight line. It seems like we found the path today for the fast line. So super excited that they have found a line that's actually going to be climbable, and Wade did an excellent job of utilizing that straight path and getting up the hill as fast as possible. Now, personally, I still think that right side of that ledge is a really easy pass, but it looks like everyone's staying left and pulling right there at the end.
I think that yesterday, of course, you know, most of these guys raced in either or both of the stock class and unlimited class yesterday, so they've already been on that ledge.
Right.
And they know they can just hop up it if they hit it right.
It's true. It's true. So Zach Whitehead is on the line. Zach raced with us yesterday. Did not believe that he raced Hill 2 with us, but he was on Hill 1.
Yeah, I think he broke something on Hill 1.
So glad to have him back out here today.
Or no, someone else I was thinking of. I don't know. Either way, he's here for UTV Bounty today. Oh, that's not quite the line he wanted.
Get your better line, Zach. You got
So that's a wise move when you're like that. If you're not perfectly square, don't hit it, because it's not going to go well for you. So a very smart move there. Hopefully you can stay out of that
You were
flag.
gonna end up at the bottom of the hill.
That's right. That's right.
41601 for Zach.
Now, I'll add to, and just a reminder to all those viewing, if a driver hits a flag, it's an automatic 30-second penalty. Now, there is some discretion, you know, if a driver clips a flag and it just wiggles a little bit, we're not going to penalize a driver for that. But if the flag goes further than a 45-degree angle, typically that means that the base of the flag was run over, and that counts as 30 seconds against their time. We had a few drivers yesterday, unfortunately, encounter that issue.
We did. We had a couple more than usual.
We had probably 4 or 5. No, we got more UTV drivers.
Y'all step back, Dan.
So it sounds to me like Dan Carter just showed up and is here to get it done. We got a few UTVs left here. We got looks like 4 guys left to race here for UTV Bounty Hill 1. Danger Dan in the old pink buggy, which had an awesome year last year, and Dan has had a little bit of issues at Windrock, but I think he's going to be able to do something really special here. Oh. You never want to see white smoke. Yeah, well, Clyde was telling me he thinks he hit the rock pretty hard, so that may not have been white smoke, but that might have been some rock dust there.
That was a hard hit to the wheel.
Yeah, that tire hit right there, whew, that one slung him around sharp.
3591. Wait. 35901.
So the UTV gonna climb that hill too, you think?
35901.
35901.
Okay.
Okay, but now we're done. No, there's another one up there.
Should
There's
be.
a couple more.
Yeah, we got a few more.
These classes get too big.
3. Yeah.
We had 4 late entries this morning.
Copy Tyler Bradley.
Tyler Bradley on the line. Now, Tyler, I'm completely focused on you today. Yesterday, during Tyler's run at Hill 2, I was talking about Cutter Wayne, and I'm not going to give it any more time. Tyler Bradley on course and making quick.
Oh, getting a little squirrely there.
Yeah, I had quick work of those jumps, but in that Black Widow buggy, it looks like something's going on there.
That was a rough landing.
All right, he's done.
Oh, man.
Next.
You got Wyatt Wilson too.
Wyatt Wilson is
we need
around
to see
here
that.
somewhere. Oh, on the line. Speak of the devil, test subject racing. Wyatt Wilson. Again, I'm going to highlight it just because it's something unique. Wyatt is running cut canines in the back, and they look just like a TSL Super Swamper that all the big bouncers run. Yesterday, he dug the ground out of everything, and you can see all the mud flying off of there. But man,
Oh!
Wyatt is not afraid to run that front end to the ground, that's for sure.
The driver's using that dirt to slow down the road.
Now Wyatt had a little bit of a hard hit yesterday with a lawn dart coming off that rock slab.
It looks like he's making really short work of this course, though.
He might be needing a chiropractor tomorrow.
I might have to agree with that. Man, it's crazy.
Nice.
You know, the rain hasn't let up very much, but you can really see that drivers are starting to really take off that top layer of soil. I'm not sure if it's going to get more slick or if they're going to get some more traction by digging that ground out.
And that was a 33.217 for Wyatt. Not a bad time. Wes Keene still hanging on to the lead with a 32.0, followed by Wade Good with a 32.2.
Puts Wyatt in third place.
And then Wyatt now moves up into third place with his 33.2.
It's a great start. Looks like we've got one more.
Derek Schaefer
should be Derek
is
Schaefer.
going to wrap things up for the bounty class for Hill 1.
Now, I'll add this. That's a unique looking Razor chassis. They don't all look like that. Pretty solid look. I like the protection above, and I like the clean lines on the side there.
That's one of those where you know if you roll over, there's nothing coming in.
You're good. Yeah. Peace of mind is worth every dollar. It's getting quite chilly out here at Wildcat Off-Road
It's dropped
Park.
like 10 degrees since we got here.
I'd have to agree with you. I can still very clearly see our breath here in the production trailer. I can only imagine what it's like if you're wet.
We'll just have to remember yesterday and think warm thoughts. And Derek Schaefer is out the top. Just barely. There it is. 44732, and that should wrap up our bounty class for Hill 1, which means we're bringing out the horsepower.
I can go ahead and give you our drivers,
Yes.
top three for Hill 1. So in the UTV Bounty Hill 1, first place is going to be Wes Keene with a 32.01. Wade Good with a 32.257. I mean, 0.2 of a second splitting those guys out. And then in third place with a 33.217 is going to be Wyatt Wilson to take your top three. I will say this is only for Hill 1. We still have a Hill 2 to run. Basically what we do is we factor both times, and whoever's got the least amount of time at the end of the day is our winner. So Wes Keene, Wade, and Wyatt Wilson.
Okay, all right. We got the ultimate
So apparently if your name starts with a W, you are bound to do pretty well in today's bounty class.
It's not a bad look.
Wes, Wade, and Wyatt. All right, guys, I promised you some horsepower,
Let's see what he can do.
and I am delivering.
They said the clock's hot.
All right, who is this?
Shane Christensen.
What's driving?
Misfit.
All right, this is Shane Christensen, and he is in Misfit this
So
time around.
this is actually some big news because that's an excellent car, a winning car, and it's a rental for this weekend. Shane's waiting on his new buggy from Reject Fab, and this car right here is absolutely dialed. This is Dex Browder's car, and let me tell you guys, or I believe it might be his old car. Either way, one of the Reject Fab buggies that is extremely high performance, and let me tell you, it looks like Shane Christensen is making very short work of this course.
There you go.
So let me add this. Just looking from UTV to bouncer, there is a certain violence that comes with these machines.
Yes.
Big power, big
Violence
tires.
is the word for it. And I think, I mean, that's what people come here to see, though. That's what
true.
people want from the bouncer class. They want the they want the violence, the carnage, the aggressive driving, and especially on a hill like this, with the rain that we've had and the mud that's there now, you could see how Shane was just fighting to keep that thing going the direction he wanted up the hill.
Absolutely. And I'll also add, too, in comparison to our UTV times, Shane had a 39.888, and the UTVs were in the 33, 32 range for our top drivers. Now, because there's a little bit more short course in this, UTVs might have the fastest time of the day.
So can a bouncer beat the fastest UTV time?
Can a bouncer beat the fastest UTV time? Because Clyde says he thinks it'll
I think
happen.
it'll happen, but those jumps are going to make a difference for the bouncers compared to the UTVs.
I'd have to agree with you, but I
At
think
least for some of them.
we got a few turns in there, and we'll see. We'll have to see. Kenneth Cozine is on the line.
Next up, we got the bad doggy himself, Kenneth Cozine.
Yeah, we haven't seen Kenneth Cozine out here racing with us in a little while.
So there's like 2 or 3 guys that run cut Maxxis Trepidors, and
Jesse, I love what a tire person you are.
look,
You're
let me.
like a woman that loves shoes.
It's
Jesse
what it is.
with tires.
Let me tell you guys this. If there's any topic that can spark more debate, more frustration, more excitement, it is off-road tires. Because everyone wants to say that theirs is the best.
But yeah, off-road
absolutely.
tires too.
But these are cut Maxxis Trepidors, and
see what I said about those jumps? Oh man, yeah, Timmy will jump those.
it's
Brandon will.
it's a little bit of a different flavor when it comes to these tires. That does not look good for Kenneth, but again, everybody likes to have the discussion. The Trepidor is typically a West Coast tire, so then you start getting West Coast versus East Coast arguments. Always a lot of fun, but Kenneth is absolutely ripping the ground to pieces here, and I expect a pretty quick time for Kenneth.
They're definitely sliding all over.
They are. They're all over the place. Nice. And you know, once your steering wheel gets wet and muddy, you know, they're starting to splash through the puddle that is forming down by those jumps now. What was that? 49.957 for Kenneth Cozine. But once your steering wheel starts getting slimed up, you know, we already talked about the visors getting either foggy or muddy.
Absolutely.
Like, it just adds a whole other level of
This is another detail.
multitasking.
Well, actually, let's hold the conversation because Tim Cameron is on the line.
All right.
Don't let me forget about asking you about gloves, because
Let me
gloves
see what
are
happens on those
one of
jumps.
those weird things. But if there's somebody that's going to jump it and clear and double these, Tim Cameron just might be your man. So here we go.
nice and smooth.
Looking smooth. Wow, out the top. But I have to say, watching the UTVs,
33149.
so I was just about to comment, watching the UTVs, you know, a lot of these guys that are in bouncers, they do run UTVs as well, and the UTV line, it seems to be a little crazy for these bouncers. I don't know if it's the rock sliding them around. I don't know if it's because, you know, they're shooting
That much horsepower too, and trying to control that
true.
on this muddy, slick, windy hill.
Now, off the line, we have Mr. Adam Coots. And this is the Riot Reloaded buggy.
Adam had a little trouble in yesterday's UTV class, so let's go a little better for him.
Now that's the line right there. Great run.
Not too shabby. Good job, Adam. Good run.
Now let me say this too.
36102. You know,
So-
it's interesting because Adam definitely had a much more direct line up the hill,
Exactly.
whereas Timmy
Yeah, Timmy was oversteering.
Yeah.
was
They're all
was
oversteering.
sliding all over, but he still pulled out 3 seconds faster time.
What they're doing is overcorrecting.
Yeah, let me say this, exactly what Clyde is saying here. Basically, the UTV line was stay really far right, slide it all the way to the left on the ledge, and then stay, you know, somewhere in that left range. But these bouncers are just throwing themselves into those trees off that ledge, and it's a big difference. We saw Adam Coots basically just take the straight line, straight
But Timmy
line.
obviously made up time at the bottom.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this is Bebo, Brian Bebo Watt. He is driving for Scott Goforth today. Gonna get some points on the board for Scott. Bebo Bebo raced with us at Windrock as well. Always good to see him out here. If you are familiar with the Bouncer Life group on Facebook, then you should know who Bebo is. He keeps us all updated with awesome information on there. Lots of pictures, all kinds of good stuff that he posts.
Now, we got to give some love to that drone shot. Absolutely incredible we're able to be that close.
Yeah, we've got Lucas with Eagle Eye Productions back with us today, and he is just helping us take this live feed to a whole nother level, 2 new levels. And as far as I can tell, our feed is looking pretty darn good today, especially considering what it looked like last time. I hope it looks like that on y'all's end as well.
He broke his front end.
So it looks like the front end's broken for Mr. Bebo. The whole thing is locked up. Normally when you see that, that's going to be something like a ring and pinion. Just something in that differential is completely locked, broken, and it's just jammed up all together. Oh, it looks like something broke free there. Yeah, nice. It's a little easier when it can roll. Yeah.
Okay,
While we're waiting for Mr. Bebo to get out of the way, we're actually going to send our big rig up to get that log up out of the way that got pushed into the race course. If you're watching with us online, let us know where you're watching from, what you're doing. Is it raining where you're at? Because if so, it's a perfect day to watch a race online. Now, Bree, I did want to ask you a question. Right. I want to ask you a question about your race experience while we're waiting on those answers to come in. Did you ever wear gloves when you're driving?
You know, I don't think I ever did.
So in the West Coast organizations, you have to wear fire retardant gloves and shoes, which is something to think about.
I didn't have those shoes.
Right. So let me ask you this, though. I don't know if you've ever driven with gloves, but when we were talking about mud coming in the cab and getting on the visor, getting on the steering wheel, there's probably nothing worse than having bare hands. You get mud on your hands. Absolutely incredible view from Eagle Eye of our spectators who are just toughing it out with us. Absolutely incredible that there's that many people.
Fans of any sport.
I'd have to agree with you, but if you've been in the driver's seat and you got mud on the steering wheel and mud on your hands, when your tire pulls one direction, it'll rip it right out of your hands, and then you can't really grab it. All of those small details are things that come into play when you're racing.
Yeah.
Visors, gripping the steering wheel, like Wyatt Wilson yesterday when he. Clyde just mentioned that it looks like we're in the Smoky Mountains, but I can promise you we are in eastern Kentucky right now. So very excited to be here with them. But Wyatt yesterday, when he dipped that front end into the ground, bent his steering wheel completely forward. He ripped it off, and as he came back to production trailer tent,
showed us how bent it was.
It is not straight. It is not level.
That's a hard lick.
Hopefully he was able to bend it back out because he had a really great run on Hill 1. So hopefully he's got it all squared away.
Speaking of mud, I remember sitting at the bottom of Cable Hill in the Juggy. So this was
old days.
I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years, and just lined up, sitting. We were all lined up down at the bottom, just waiting, sitting there for like 20 minutes, and it was just like steady rain, just like this, you know, just like sloppy Joe, nasty. And then of course Cable Hill turns into like a water slide anyway.
A wet Cable Hill is a really hard obstacle.
Nasty, and I had goggles on, but just like covered. Steering wheel, like it was a mess.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Needless to say, and it was the Juggy. I didn't make it out the top, but had fun trying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to say, actually, what you're looking at here on screen is we have food vendors, we have parts vendors that are all here, and wow, that line coming into the race course.
Wow.
So what you're looking at to your left there is the parking area and the spectator area, and we have vehicles lined up to the road trying to get in to come see this race because this is absolutely this is a great race day, no doubt. Very cool to see that many vehicles waiting to get in the race with us.
That is awesome.
Especially under these conditions.
We get stuck down in the trailer, especially when it's rainy and we don't want to run around outside. But and we don't always get to see exactly what's going on in the rest of the park and in the spectator area and everything. Even the pits that you can see on camera right now are quite a ways away from us. The last time at Windrock, we were right in the middle of the action. It was very loud.
It was a little different than this time.
We're a little isolated from it all today, so it's fun to have that camera shot and be able to see what's going on out there. I really love seeing that line of cars.
Me too.
You know, waiting to get into the
Now,
park.
there's one thing I do like to see a little more, and it is Menace on the start line. That buggy right there is ready to rip, and off the line, Brandon Davis goes in the Menace buggy. I think that if I had to pick today, Brandon Davis is going to have my fastest time.
I think so. My dad loves this buggy. He was drooling over it in the Windrock video. So, Brandon, if you, whenever you're ready to get rid of Menace, try Molitor.
Oh, bad luck.
No.
Now, see, with an IFS car, the breakover angle on the belly pan, the ledges there, those are always going to be the problem.
Oh, man.
And such long trailing arms, too.
Yeah.
Man, I think if he had, hit it with all 1,000 horsepower from the bottom, it would have been a different story, but it's too wet to drive like that today. And I can say, too, that the rain is starting to come down a little harder, actually, right now. Oh, man, it looks like he's got a broken left rear axle. Is going to be holding him up for sure.
Oh, man, I was really expecting a great time from Brandon.
Now, I'll tell you this, Brandon, I apologize. I said you were my pick for today, and you go out and you break, so I feel like...
He's on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Other than that, he's fine.
Yeah,
Does he even realize?
he's on fire, and I don't think he realizes it. We need to get somebody up there very quickly.
Fine. Tell one of their pepper guys. He's on fire.
Yeah, he's got fire in the cab.
Behind him. All right, they're waving him off
He's
now.
not stopping. He doesn't care if it's burning. I'm pretty sure he's just going to let it burn to the ground.
It's his what? Okay. We're getting word that was his brake rotor. Sometimes at the transfer case, you'll have a brake there. A little scary from our angle. I thought I saw a little bit of a flame there.
Right
So,
next to him.
I don't know about you. I went from 0 to stress pretty quick there because he did not seem stressed enough to be on fire. So I'm glad that that's not the case, but it'll be a DNF for Mr. Brandon Davis on Hill 1.
Aw, man.
Hey, down in the pits, y'all make sure that fire's out really good. Anybody that can hear me down there?
All right, we've got Cash LeCroy
Woo, we got Cash LeCroy.
ready to rock and roll down there.
So Cash LeCroy.
Oh, no.
No. All right, there we go.
Poor kid. He's having trouble this weekend. Oh. Whipping there.
I'm not sure today. I'm not sure today rear steer would be the thing I would use.
Well done, Cash.
38577, 38577.
That's a 38.557.
That's where experience comes in.
38577.
All right, we got 2 out of 3.
And for those of you, if you're somehow not familiar with Cash, he did race in the UTV bounty class as well. You would have heard us talk about him. But Cash is, what, 12 years old? I believe he's 12. Sorry, I'm watching Jesse.
Sorry, doing a little.
I believe he is 12 years old, and he's been racing for most of his life, probably.
I believe the earliest I saw was a 6-year-old.
Yeah, okay, half of his life.
Only challenged by Mr. Cutter Wayne, but we've got Justin Wills on the line here.
Justin Wheels.
Wheels, excuse me.
Yes. It
gotcha.
looks like Wheels,
Gotcha.
It is wheels.
but it's Wheels.
Well, hopefully he burns the wheels off this bad boy because it's going to be he's going to need every bit of horsepower and grip that he can get out of those tires. That's funny. I was like, yeah. All good. Now, this is
Justin Wheels.
Who?
Justin Wheels.
Never heard of her.
Well, just
Now-
say what I said then.
Now, it does look like he'll be running some Mickey Thompson tires.
Okay, we got Justin Wheels coming in hot.
He's from North Carolina, if I remember.
Oh, not good to see white smoke never coming out of there. Still trying to make it happen. That's a lot of white smoke.
That's a lot.
The purple church.
The purple church.
Is he? I see a bunch of blue. Man, he's not quitting.
I got to give our determination award today
Yeah.
to Mr. Justin
I think
Wheels.
he might have taken it away from Levi Russell.
Yeah.
And still with a good time.
Now I'll say this.
4:11.
So it looked like a shock, possibly.
I can see some
Some fluid was spewing out of there, but it looked like it happened on the jump there, so it's
It didn't
possibly a
slow down
shock
at all.
blown
I wonder
out.
what the visibility was like in there.
Good enough to get a 34, that's
like
for
driving through
sure.
a cloud.
Right now he's sitting in second place.
Go wait there, I'm coming.
Chris Grigg on the line. Now, it's pretty rare we see something with a Jeep fascia on it.
Totally different. We're gonna run like this Jeep body. Chris,
So
Juggy.
it's a juggy, but I'm gonna go on the lines with it's. I'm hoping that it's a little bit more rock bouncer because I'm not sure I would take a juggy up these hills today.
Hey, don't be hating on the juggies. They
I'm
can
not.
do more than you think.
I'm a believer always, but it definitely is a juggy for sure, and I'm excited. This is really encouraging. It's pretty rare we'll see a wow.
Yeah.
Pretty rare we'll see these kind of vehicles out here, but
Clyde says, "Oh
that's no good.
no!" Clyde said, "We need a class for this." What do you guys think?
I would love to see a half and half class. And look at that drone footage right there. Absolutely. Just
Hey, don't worry, guys. We're playing over there too. Yeah, y'all were picky yesterday. Y'all was running and sprinting and grabbing and grunting.
Everybody's gonna
Now-
be sliding around in the mud.
now, I got to give it to Chris. That just shows you how tightly they're locked in there. But Chris has been upside down for a little while. We're getting the thumbs up. Hopefully they'll get him turned out because I'll tell you this, when you're upside down like that, the blood starts going to your head pretty quick. Things start
It's a little
feeling
discombobulating, that's
it
for
is.
sure.
It is. So I'm sure that once they I just see that they've got to him, they're going to get him flipped over, and it's a lot nicer to be right side up for sure.
The undercarriage of his buggy.
I still remember Dad and I went out on Cable Hill last summer with the Avenger, and I rolled it over, and you know Cable Hill. It's
very narrow. It's super narrow.
So and I was like totally on my lid in there, and I had buckled the very top of the harness, which I don't always do because it's not wide enough to fall off anyway.
It's really
But
tight.
Dad reminded me. He was like, "Why don't buckle that one?" And I was like, "Okay, I never do that." And then once you have your helmet on, I can't see it. So
Oh,
I was
man.
in there upside down. You know, we're trying to get out, and
Yeah.
we're like up against the sides and everything. And I unbuckled everything and forgot about that one up here, and I couldn't see it with the helmet on. So I'm like,
I'm sure you're panicking
what?
too.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and then you have your Hans on, which gets stuck under the belt. Shane Christensen came and helped me, and he could see the buckle and got it undone for me. But it's not a good feeling.
No.
Even though, you know, we weren't on fire, it wasn't a dangerous moment. But it's just one of those where you're in a tight space, and you're all, you know, you let your buckles go, so then you kind of fall out
Yeah.
onto the roof.
And if you have one
your
buckle
head
left,
is stuck when you got
Yeah.
this one up here, and I couldn't remember.
yeah, with one buckle left, you would just end up with a lot of pressure on one buckle,
Yeah.
and it's a little hard to get out
I
sometimes.
didn't like that feeling, so now I always remember. What?
I said, if you think that was bad, wait till you see the next guy.
Oh, Zach. So mean.
We are glad to have everybody out here, and I'll tell you this right now, nothing but love for all the drivers that come out here.
Except for that one.
Except for that one with a microphone right there.
All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of time management here. In first place right now with a 33.149 was Tim Cameron. Next on our list is Mr. Justin Wheels, Mr. Smoke Show himself, 34.4. And then in third place, Mr. Adam Coots with a 36.102. So pretty amazing run by Justin. Determination
He's
award.
glad he didn't let it stop him now.
I agree. A very, very
When
good
you see
showing.
a cloud of smoke that big,
That's
you know,
concerning.
you're like, what do
It's
I
very
do?
concerning.
Keep going. What do I do?
You give it your best, that's for sure. And Justin showed us how to do it. Did we ever have anybody chime in from where they're from?
We had, the problem is, yes, we did have a few, but every time that I have to go exit out and refresh it, then I can't scroll back up anymore.
Gotcha.
So I'm sorry, guys. I did see a few of you. I didn't get to call out. Josh Hill says yes, a half and half class, definitely. And
I'd love to, but
Melissa Robertson, who raced with us at Windrock, said yes, we do need that, Clyde.
Now, I'll tell you this too while we're waiting on some of those comments to roll back in. I have not, we did a very brief introduction. I am Jesse Williams. I'm from the Racing on the Rocks podcast. This is my second race with the National Rock Racing Association. I'm super glad to be here, and I think we're having a good time. And I'm going to give the veteran, Miss Bree Molitor, a chance to introduce herself. Needs no introduction, however.
But yeah, I'm Bree Molitor. Welcome to Hillside Live.
Yeah, very exciting. And like I said, I'm from the Racing on the Rocks podcast. So if you can't get enough of racing, if you like hearing more about these drivers, manufacturers, all that kind of fun stuff, feel free to check us out. But it looks like we got Matt Holt on the line, ready to rip here in just a moment. We're getting everyone squared away. I think we were doing a little bit of course management to get him going. Oh, excuse me. Chris is still on the line, or still after the rock. They're just getting him turned over here.
There he goes.
Yeah. So,
but if you are just joining us or just jumped in on the show recently, we are at Wildcat Off-Road Park in East Bernstadt, Kentucky. This is the Yukon Gear and Axle Northern Series Race 1, second race of the series so far this year overall. This weekend is presented by Mickey Thompson, and huge shout out to Wildcat, of course, as they are an official partner of the NRRA. So big thanks to them and to all of our sponsors.
Absolutely. I got to give a quick plug for Mickey Thompson, those UTV tires yesterday. Cutter Wayne was running those UTV Mickey Thompson tires. They're just out there, just brand new, really. It's the first time I'd seen them in person, and I'll tell you this, Cutter pretty much crawled that course up until the very end. I think he was actually in two-wheel drive at the very end, and he's the only one that took the slow hard line, and those tires really dug in the ground. They hooked up really well for him. So Mickey Thompson is presenting this race, and we're glad to have you guys on board. As always, the official shock of the National Rock Racing Association is Radflow, the official wheel being Raceline.
We've got West Liberty, Kentucky checking in, Southern Illinois.
You saw me looking. So for those who missed it yesterday, my cheat sheet for all the sponsors is the flags, and I was going to run through them all.
Jesse was just kind of gazing out this way and running through like a dozen sponsors flawlessly, and I was really impressed because I thought he memorized all of it. Because I have not memorized all of that.
We have about 100 flags on course.
Then I noticed he was looking at all of the banners and flags that are out on the course.
Yeah, absolutely. Those who sponsor us.
But you did it nice and smooth anyway.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
You still get props.
The people that sponsor the race series, they are just so near and dear to our hearts, and they deserve the support back, because without them, this would not be possible. We wouldn't be out here racing. So we're super excited to have everybody on board, all of our supporting members and team members. But it looks like Mr. Grigg is off the race course. It looks like his vehicle's running, back in the pits, all that kind of good stuff. I'm sure they're going to do a nice once-over before Hill 2. And on the line, Mr. Matt Holt. Matt Holt, no stranger to the show as well, and the entire National Rock Racing Association organization.
And Matt is always so quick to jump in and lend a hand
so
with
helpful.
Whatever anybody needs around here.
Yes, and he's always got a kind, encouraging word to say, too. That was something that, when I jumped on board here, he pulled me aside. We had an awesome conversation. He basically was just like, hey, man, you're going to do a great job. And it's stuff like that where the off-road community comes through, supports each other. Oh, it's a good time. Matt Holt, gonna take it easy on these jumps, but for good reason. Those jumps are no joke, and no reason to bust that front end up before you get to the hill.
Uh-oh.
All right, that was a good job, Matt. Maybe on Hill 2 you'll do better.
Oh, Zach. There it is.
Wait a minute, he ain't done.
Got her in high now. What had her in low? Got her in high.
Come on, buddy. I know it's a big rock. There you go.
Whew, a little bit of light dancing out there for us too.
Ooh, I missed it.
And again, the race conditions right now are less than optimal. Definitely saying. So it's exciting to have everybody out here. I know we had Matt Holt sitting on the start line for a while too, just getting rained on. So he's wet, cold, all of the above. But it looks like he's making his way through the rock course pretty quickly.
You know, we did have pretty much perfect weather yesterday.
We used all our good luck up.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should have spread it out a little bit more over the weekend, but hey, at least we got one great sunny day out of it.
Now, I'll tell you,
It's cold out here today.
it is getting much colder.
My toes are going numb.
But for those who were asking yesterday, this is the line that I was talking about.
Woo!
That was the line I thought was the easier option. But
Oh,
turns out it's going to be a little bit harder. That's the line that Mr. Cutter Wayne took yesterday. 5-year-old Cutter Wayne
And I
climbed.
think the trick on that side is staying out of those logs, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that'll hang you up real quick.
Matt Holt
Matt.
finishes Hill 1. Congratulations.
You can do it.
What time? 110184 for Matt.
A time is always better than a DNF. So glad to have him finish that hill. And they always say slow and steady wins a race.
Now, this guy right here, this is not going to be anything slow and steady.
This is going to be...
This is hashtag big block.
Yeah, this is some deep frying bacon power.
It's making me hungry.
We got Bubba Bacon.
Bubba Bacon taking on the course. Here he goes. Nice.
Now, this is a prime example where you can see some suspension tuning really being fruitful. You know, the front end, the rear end, they're all moving really well. There's a lot of time spent in that suspension, and I think that you can definitely see the fruits of that labor right here.
Right up the middle.
Awesome run.
Nice.
Very nice run.
36405.
So as of right now, I'm going to give our first place, and the first few here are really tight in. Our first place is 33.149. We've got a 34, 36, two 36s, and a 38. So those guys in the top, it's going to be within 5 seconds, no doubt. I bet our top 2 and 3 will be within 1 to 2 seconds of each other after it's all said and done. Now, this is Mr. Jack Porter, and he's running a brand new set of Mickey Thompson tires, and
Like they still have the sticker on them.
they were literally brand new off the trailer.
All right, Jack. It's time to unleash a Jack attack.
That's right.
This is our very own Jack Porter, who helps with anything and everything to keep this series in production rolling.
There you go. Look good.
Jack makes quick work.
42.421
42421
for Jack.
Jack Porter.
Let's see, we got Camp Crocker checking in from Phoenix, Arizona. Chad from Washington State. Mike from Woodbury, Tennessee. Hey, that's where I was. That's where I'm from.
Just down the
Greg
road from us.
Meadows from Paintsville, Kentucky.
Cold air is really starting to roll in here. If you're a spectator listening to the live feed, thanks for hanging out with us today. I hope you brought a couple layers here. Now, no stranger to the podium here. It looks like it's going to be Mr. Danny Smith on the
We
line.
got the Danny Smith.
The Danny Smith,
The
excuse me.
Danny Smith.
He's not in the win a race. Let's go, let's go.
Now, he does have a custom roof, it looks like.
He put a roof on his.
Yep, he put a custom, it looks like it's a clear wrap roof there. Or cling wrap, rather.
Saran wrap.
Saran wrap, thank you. But saran wrap roof may be the way to go today. Danny Smith is tearing it up.
Oh, he was sitting on the starting line. I was like, what buggy is that? I didn't recognize it because of his saran wrap roof.
Danny Smith.
Well, I couldn't get a good look at it. As soon as I started saying he looks like he has a roof, it looked a little metal at sometimes, and it
Yeah,
looked a
it
little
did.
plastic at sometimes. So glad to see that they're being innovative out there.
That was
Saran
a
wrap.
34268 for Danny. Tim Cameron still holding down the lead with a 33.1. Then now, let's see, Danny with a 34.2, and then looks like Justin Wheels with a 34.4. Jeff Roberts now on the line. We've got North Vernon, is that supposed to be Indiana, checking in? James Bell again from Logan Lake in British Columbia, West Virginia. Thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, a little bit of bad luck.
Wait, it's not over yet. Here it is.
We apologize for those engine sounds. We have a rule where the drivers are supposed to go left out of the top, and we're going to relay that back down to the pits to make sure that you guys can hear us really well. But I was actually going to say, when Jeff was coming off the line here, that is a really underrated buggy. It does not get the attention it deserves. It is super cool, very unique look, but obviously a super quick run there.
55658.
55658.
With a full recovery in there too.
Yeah.
Looks like we got Adam with Professor Winger on the line.
go out to the left at the top?
Thank you. That West Virginia click.
Go back. Let's let those guys know to go to the left at the top. Go to the left at the top.
All right, Adam Ringer,
Wonderful lights of West Virginia.
an OG driver and an OG buggy.
Yeah, he actually was able to climb the Bounty Hill at Winrock post-race, and man, not a joke. So it goes to show you that not only is the technology evolving, but Showgirl here is a prime example that the drivers are evolving too. Everybody's getting better at driving because same buggy, same hill, and he was able to climb it this time.
Come on, Adam.
He too has a custom saran wrap roof job today. It is not fun sitting in a soggy seat with a fire suit on. So props to these guys for sticking it out down there in the pit.
There you go, Adam.
Every single one of those horses was running right there. That was awesome.
That's a 42.010.
42.010 for Adam. Jared says it's 65 and sunny in northwest Arkansas today. Can you send some of that to eastern Kentucky for us?
010.
Except for that one guy that was on fire. That was good when he went to the fire truck.
All right.
Always a bunch of laughs here at the production tent. Larry Krogh,
Croak Show.
the Krogh Show, Mr. Ford.
All right, time to tune in to the ever popular Krogh Show. We got Larry Krogh on the line, running that big Ford motor.
What a beautiful shot.
Looking good, Larry.
Now Krogh is making some quick time here. If he can keep this pace through the rest of the race course,
Smoking time.
it's going to be an awesome, awesome finish for Mr. Larry Krogh. Woo! Yeah, buddy! That is rock bouncing right there.
34605. 34605.
34605. That looks like a third place time right now.
That'll actually put him
Oh,
right in
that's
fourth.
a fourth place time.
right in fourth. Man, laying
Wow,
it
what
out
a
there.
finish there.
Absolutely. That's how you get that finish, and that's how you get that top 5
He
position.
was like, all right, I crossed the line. Okay, we'll let her go.
Now the real question is, how many firemen does it take to flip over a rock bouncer?
More than that.
It's not going to be 3. That's right.
And we're going to run somebody else, so y'all just hang out.
You know, I feel like Larry is. We've got our drivers we all watch. You know, Tim Cameron and Danny Smith, and you know, in the UTVs it's Paul Wolf. But I think Larry's one of those where I don't want to say that he gets forgotten about. Because, you know, it's not that, but it's like
under the radar.
Sneaks in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he comes out and lays down these like smoking fast passes.
He's on the podium often.
Yeah.
Often. Now, hey, look, you're getting a great look at the production trailer. So we are holed up in that trailer right there. You're watching some of the rain come off of those pavilions. But we are very, very thankful to have Mr. Eagle Eye Productions. And there we are just inside the production trailer, staying a little bit drier than most. So we are happy to be in here, happy to be here. Just to the left there is Lucas, Mr. Eagle Eye Productions himself. Happy to have him. And there it is, an awesome shot from the back of the production trailer. So excited to see that. So crazy.
How many camera guys can you fit under a tent?
That's right. But the real thing is the introduction of these drones to racing has been an extremely positive thing. It's so cool to not only be able to see us, but also being right there, right on top of Krog's machine as it was flipped over. So cool. And just a reminder, a perfect time to make the plug. This is the Yukon Gear and Axle Northern Rock Racing Series, race number 1, presented by Mickey Thompson Tires at Wildcat Off-Road Park. It looks like we're getting a little bit of ups and downs between the rain. Sometimes we're going, sometimes we're not, but I can tell you one thing, we're having a ton of fun here today.
We are. This rain does not put a damper on our fun.
No, the cold is a little cold.
Yeah,
but we're all having fun. I'm going to run through our top 5 really quickly. I know we just kind of glossed over it here, but Tim Cameron with a 33.1, Danny Smith with a 34.2, Justin Wheels with a 34.4, so 0.2 of a second between second and third place. And then Mr. Larry Krog is going to round us out at number 4 for 34.6, and in 5th place right now, Adam Coots with a 36.1. All jokes here in the production trailer all the time. Oh, little bit of a light dance for us from the sky. Hopefully we're all staying safe. If you are not here, we are glad to bring you the live coverage.
Zach says we're 6 miles away from the lightning, so we're good.
There is an old trick where you can count the distance. Yeah, you can count the distance between lightning strike and the sound of thunder, but I'm not sure if I would trust Mr. Garner's math.
He did have to tell me to be quiet so he could count to 6. So.
My 7-year-old says the same thing. Anyways, having a ton of fun here. I'll tell you this right now. This race being presented by Mickey Thompson Tires, you're going to need some big old tires like Mickey Thompson's today to make this course work.
I'm starting to get a little concerned about the fact that I brought my car down here today instead of parking it by the check-in. I drive a Mazda sedan, y'all. It's not made for this.
Today might not have been the day to bring it down. So I'll tell you this, I actually took my wife's Subaru down here yesterday. You know, it's got a all-time four-wheel drive, kind of cool. You know, it's like they have a little off-road thing for Subarus, but I'm not sure I would have brought the Mazda down here today. It's getting a little wet.
I mean, I kept it in the gravel mostly.
Okay.
So
well, if you need a,
I figure there will be enough people here to push me out if it
push you out, pull you out, whatever it'll be. But I do know that you'll be having some fun later today because I think the rain is going to continue.
Car wash, that's for sure.
That's right. Now, I can see that most of our drivers have either umbrellaed their rigs or built some kind of roof.
I don't know who brought all the saran wrap. Did someone just get designated to run down to Dollar General and get like 10 rolls of saran
probably
wrap?
Now, I'll tell you a funny story while we're having a little bit of time here.
Ahead of time?
So at one point in my past, I owned a 2-seat Razor bouncer, full, blown out rock bouncer cage, the whole 9 yards. And what I did was I had some friends. We were doing a long distance, 8 hours run, and it was supposed to rain. My story is going to have to wait because off the line, Jonathan Shepard in the Hater Maker buggy is he's back to racing. He's ready to rip.
Man, it's slick and nasty out here now.
Now, let me say this. something really unique about this buggy is not only basically every part of it, but Mr. Jonathan Shepard is running bypasses that are tuned by G-Force Racing. G-Force is typically a UTV only tuning company, but G-Force has tuned these bypasses, and they're looking ever so smooth out there. So really excited to have them because Jonathan Shepard just made an incredibly fast run.
That's a
37.381.
Beautiful buggy.
But anyways, to get back to the story just shortly and finish it up, what I did was I took cardboard, laid it across the top of my bouncer, saran wrapped it, more cardboard, saran wrapped it, and it worked all weekend. Now, my big mistake was I tried to make a windshield out of saran wrap, and when mud and dirt hit saran wrap, you can't just wipe it off. It just smears. So,
Live and learn.
yes.
Live and learn.
Saran wrap is a roof material only, approved by the National Rock Racing Association. No, not good for windshields.
All right, and we have a Randall Key. I was speaking of OG drivers and vehicles earlier. This is one of the OGest out there. Randall Key and Rage. Randall, I think, has probably competed in more SRS races in the last this will be 10 years, than I think probably anybody else. Maybe Bobby would be the only other one, but
Bobby's in second place.
yeah, Bobby would be the second most. But so we love seeing Randall out here. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Randall Key is actually paralyzed from the waist down, and he drives completely with hand controls. So that is steering, shifting, throttle, brakes, and rear steer that he's doing all with hand controls in there. Epic multitasking.
I hope those hands are insured because they do a lot of work.
And it does not slow him down one bit. Out the top. Nice, Randall. 54.468 for Randall.
Here's another fast one.
All right, Wes Keene
Oh boy.
is on the line. The time to beat right now is Timmy's 33.1. There's a good chance we might see that happen.
Now, I'll tell you right now, that wide open design, crane axle, redneck rocket ship, that is up-to-date technology. Absolutely crazy buggy, and an absolute madman, absolute mad lad behind the wheel. And the rain really just stepping it up here.
It's coming down. You know, wide open design. That's a good looking buggy, and it works too.
So-
You guys are located in Murfreesboro, right by you and I.
Yep. Looks like we got a blown tire there, and that makes a big difference out here. Oh, it's a front tire too. Front tires getting blown means way less traction. Now, the crane axle buggy. The crane axle buggy's very loud.
Look out, fire guys and policemen.
The crane axle buggy is another great example of finely tuned suspension. You can see it working, and just like that, Wes Keene is going to be out. But man, that buggy suffered some punishment.
All right, he's out the top of the completed course.
Man.
70851. We got the thunder competing for the attention out here.
As my wife always says when it thunders, and the thunder rolls. Every single time it thunders, I can always count on my wife saying that. But let me tell you this, the buggy on the line is also some really interesting technology. This is Fordzilla, Mr. Jake Pike. Now, we were actually behind Mr. Jake Pike leaving the park yesterday. Jake is one of the very few drivers that runs ORI
We were
struts.
studying, yes, the ORI strut.
So a strut versus a coilover. As you can see, there's no coils on that shock there. It's actually just run off a combination of fluids and gases as well. But obviously, a little something different, and it seems to work really well. He's got a really small chassis there. I think he said the bottom skid plate is just over 20 inches wide. So
it's such an interesting looking buggy. There is no extra room down there.
man, You want to talk about a beautiful power to weight ratio? There it is.
37.606. Y'all, the rain has not let up one single bit since we started, and in fact has continued to
Get way worse.
increase a little bit. And you can tell there, Jake was just clawing his way up the hill.
I think that buggy was native to this area.
Hill 2 is going to be
So
interesting.
I actually went out and put on the Racing on the Rocks Facebook page a picture of myself next to the Hill 2. It's going to be bad today, y'all. This was before the rain. It was tough up there. A lot of undercuts, big rock step up. It's like a little two-step you got to make. It's going to be really bad with the rain here. Now, Mr. Daniel...
This is Daniel Heckley.
Heckley, thank you.
And he is not driving smoked out.
So, brand new buggy to him. Outlaw is in new hands. Mr. Daniel Heckley, IFS, IRS car, and it looks like the learning curve may be a little steep there, but we're going to see how this all works out. Again, this is the only other buggy in the series that runs ORI struts. They have been tuned, but I'll tell you right now, definitely a new experience for him, a learning curve, but a very proven buggy. And it is absolutely slick coming up to that rock ledge there. Excuse me, I need to make a correction. This is not the independent rear suspension buggy. There are two versions of the Outlaw. You have Outlaw 1 and 2. This is Outlaw 2, and it has been converted over to a solid axle in the rear. My apologies to Mr. Heckley.
42.730 was Daniel's time.
Whew, and the rain just keeps on coming. Now, for those who can't tell, obviously from these shots, the drivers, the pit area there is pretty much a bowl, and they're climbing up and out of the bowl, so all the water is coming downhill. Those Mickey Thompson tires there are looking right and ready to dig. Very, very exciting stuff here.
Shelby's asking us for a top 5. This should be Justin Williams on the line.
It should be, but I'm not 100% sure that that's him.
I can't quite.
Okay, so that is correct. Mr. Justin Williams will be running the Money Shot buggy. I wasn't sure that was Mr. Justin, but he is stepping in, not to race for Mr. Sorensen, but he's in the buggy. Now, Money Shot, if you can't tell, it's got a little windy boys up underneath the hood, and it'll push a ton of power.
Oh, no.
Is that the rod?
Oh, man. You can hear that supercharger absolutely throwing as much air as possible into there. I love the sound of that buggy. A lot of really tuned suspension here too. A lot of time put into this machine. I've talked to Mr. Tim Sorensen 2 years ago. It's when I talked to him and he debuted this buggy. So crazy how he's not really beating on that machine to get it up the hill, but flawlessly getting out the top.
That's a nice smooth run. 55.632. 632?
632.
Whatever. Yeah, like it matters. 632. 55632.
Back to the production trailer for Mr. Eagle Eye Productions. You're getting a good look at us here in the tent. And there's the drone driver himself. Or excuse me, the drone pilot. It's not a driver when you're flying.
Alright, I think we're going to have Matt Schisler on the line next.
Hey, mine come undone too. Can I rerun it?
Clyde, can we switch to the starting line?
My foot slid off the accelerator. It's wet. Can I rerun it?
So next up,
That's
it
on
looks
starting
like Mr. Matt Schisler.
I got scared on jump too. Can I rerun it?
Alright, it is Matt Schisler.
My buggy drove like that hole. Can I run it?
More water. You can hear it and see it coming off of here.
That was Justin Williams that just ran, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
That was Justin Williams that just ran. Cousin Williams from down the road with a 55.632. I hope you guys can hear all the water coming off these tents.
Oh boy.
And Matt Schussler sitting on the line in the Bad Influence buggy, a busted knuckle off-road buggy, chassis set up. Man, this thing has taken some abuse over the years for sure. Still out here and being rowdy as ever. There's a prime example.
You know, Matt Schussler's a quiet guy, especially if you try and put a camera in his face. But he sure is rowdy when he gets in that buggy out on the hills.
I agree.
Looking good, looking strong.
Woo!
That's big power. Big.
That looked a little rough at the top.
Big power.
39.444. Jesse, you want us to give us a quick top 3?
Absolutely, I can do that here. Give us a nice sort on Hill 1. So I actually give you top 6. How's that?
Okay.
So top 6, Tim Cameron with a 33, Danny Smith with a 34.2, Justin Wills with a 34.4, Larry Krogh with a 34.6, 0.2 of a second between second, third, and fourth. It's pretty amazing stuff right there. And then in 5th place, we have Mr. Adam Coots with 36.1. Now, before we finish out the Hill 1, I will go through and run through everybody. So if you have one that you're trying to keep up with, you will have an idea. We'll give you all the times here at the end of the broadcast. So please stick around with us. On the line, Joe.
I believe this is John McGreeny.
Yes, excuse me, John McGreeny.
And I talked with him just a little bit yesterday. This is his first race ever.
Woo.
He decided to go from spectator to competitor. And he was a little nervous yesterday,
That's
you know.
okay.
But I'm like, that's how it is. That's part of it.
That's absolutely.
That's how everybody starts out.
Look, every single race, regardless of what it is, anytime you're under the gun like this, you get a little bit of those nerves.
Especially once you add in the weather conditions right now.
Yeah, he does not have a saran wrapped roof,
does
he is
not.
getting wet. Those race suits, they are fire retardant, so
They are not
obviously
waterproof.
repelling fire, but they soak up everything. They are heavy when they're wet, and they are cold when they're wet too.
So John is from Wendell, North Carolina. He calls his buggy the Silver Bullet. It's a busted knuckle chassis.
Cool.
Got a small block Ford motor in there. Another one of our Ford guys.
We got John McGreeny.
And
on the
this
line,
is
ready to show us
his
what
first
he's got.
ever race.
Let's see if he got anything that we like to watch.
So good luck to him.
John is an excellent example of the idea of production buggies coming to fruition. The Busted Knuckle shop making, similar buggies that they can spit out pretty quickly, but this is a sharp looking machine, no doubt.
Looking pretty good so far.
Now I'll tell you this, that exhaust is sticking pretty far out there. I would think that exhaust is going to meet a rock.
Oh,
Three.
let's try that again.
Now that's rock mountain right there. I love it. Today you're going to need a little bit more of that power and a little bit more of that bounce to get out.
And that did not look like a first timer at all. 65.644 for John McGreeny. I think that means we should have Charlie Brown Jr. on the line. Things are about to get loud.
On the line.
Oh.
Rowdy.
3.6 800 flat. 3.6 800 flat.
36.800.
800 Charlie Brown.
All right, Jay Storts
Copy Jay Storts on the line.
We got Jay Storts
is ready
on
to
the
rock and
line.
roll.
Love me some Jay Storts, Storts Racing.
RC guys,
Jay Storts has, speaking of Reject Fab, a new buggy almost done, I believe.
Have you seen the lines on it? It is a little different than all the other Reject Fab buggies, and I'll tell you this, it might be my favorite machine to come out of that shop. It is sharp.
But for today, he is still in, is that Modern Warfare? Yeah. We'll see him out in his new red pretty soon, I think. Nice.
Good run. Solid run.
42.004.
And just a reminder, we have 2 drivers left on the list for me. I don't know about your list there, Bree, but I believe we've got 2 left.
Sounds right.
And then what we'll do is before we close out for the Hill 1 finisher here, I will actually run through all of the drivers for UTV Bounty and all of the drivers for Bouncer, and that way everyone can know exactly where their friends and loved ones are.
All right.
Mr.
Oh,
Sparks.
Sparky on the line. Haven't seen him out here in a while.
I know, Mr. Jason Sparks. I'm ready to see some power.
All right, let's see what you got. The most electrifying man in rock racing independent, Sparky. Racing that S-Class, baby.
As Zach says, the most electrifying man in rock racing. Classic S-Class.
Like a spider.
Yeah. This is what I love more than anything else. Just watching people have to use every bit of horsepower.
And you know, that drone shot is beautiful.
Now-
But it doesn't give you quite an idea of how steep that rock ledge is. There it is.
But what it did let you see there is this buggy was built by Spider Off-Road, and that hood right over the top of the engine is a beautiful Spider built right into the chassis.
71.393.
71.393 for Sparky. How tall did you say that ledge was yesterday? Approximately 1 cache LaCroix?
3/4 a cache, maybe?
3/4 of a cache?
It's probably 1 cache now. It's getting dug out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But on the line, we have no stranger to racing. We have Mr. Tim Bacon.
Right now. He's got the fever, so he's going to make a pass. Let's see what he can do. Probably outrun Bubba.
Is this Big Tim or Little Tim?
Big Tim.
Bacon.
See which bacon's better, big slice or medium slice.
From Zach here, we're going to see which piece of bacon is better, big slice or medium slice.
I don't think I've ever seen Big Tim drive Bubba's buggy.
I haven't actually ever seen him do that either.
Usually we see him in Big Red.
Big Red, classic and old school rock mountain machine.
What? Seems to be doing all right with it. Oh.
Whoop. That's all right. You get a better line, Tim. You got this.
There it is. Nice.
That's right.
51.572, 51.572.
51.572.
51.572.
Correct. Big sliced bacon is a little better.
What was Bubba's time? Bubba had a 36. But also a lot more seat time in that buggy. So.
All right, so what I'm going to do here just briefly is I'm actually going to run through all the times for UTV Bounty and then all the times for the bouncer. So make sure your ears are open to listen for your driver. So our first time for the UTV, and again, this is only for Hill 1. We've still got Hill 2 to do. We have Wes Keene with a 32.01, Wade Good 32.257, Wyatt Wilson 33.217, Justin Mitchell 35.388, Dan Carter 35.901, Travis Cooper 36.114, Zach Whitehead 41.601, Derek Schaefer with a 44, Paul Wolf with a 52.165, Cash LaCroix with a 52.302, and our last driver for the UTV Bounty was Jerry Gray with a 67.345. Moving on to the the bouncer, all of the drivers, we had 26 drivers finish. In first place for Hill 1 is Mr. Tim Cameron with a 33 time. Danny Smith with a 34.268. In third place, we have Mr. Justin Wheels with a 34.411. Larry Krogh with a 34.605. So we have three 34-second times there, all within 1 second of each other. Next, we have Adam Coots with a 36.102. Bubba Bacon with a 36.405. Charlie Brown with a 36.8. So again, another three drivers within 1 second of each other. Jonathan Shepard with a 37.381. Jake Pike with a 37.606. Next, we have Cash LaCroix in 10th place with 38.577. In 11th, we have Matt Schussler with a 39.444. Shane Christensen just behind him with a 39.888. In 13th place, we have Jay Stortz with a 42.004. Adam Ringer with a 42.01. Jack Porter in 15th place with a 42.421. Daniel Heckley with a 42.73 in 16th place. Kenneth Kozine with a 49.957. Tim Bacon with a 51.572. Randall Key 54.468. In 20th place, we have Justin Williams with a 55.632. Jeff Roberts 55.658. Joe Magrini with a 65.644. Wes Keene with a 70.851. Jason Sparks 71.393, and Mr. Matthew Holt rounding us out with a 110.184. So there is everybody. If you're curious about scores, that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to run through them at the very end, so there's no questions about anything like that. So there is all your UTV and your bouncer drivers for Hill 1. A long list, I know.
And the rain is not letting up, but I think we are done. We're ready to
break off for RC.
Hey, RC guys, for real. Waterproof your junk and come
waiting on Clyde.
Yep, we are going to wait on Clyde. But again, we are at the Yukon Gear and Axle National Rock Racing Series, or Northern Rock Racing Series, excuse me, Race 1, presented by Mickey Thompson at Wildcat Off-Road Park. The weather, again, not playing friends with us, but let me tell you this real quick. Hill 2, going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. So y'all stay tuned. We are going to head over to the RC racing, and then we'll be back for Hill 2 after that. Yep, we'll be back live in just a few minutes for RC.
What you want? No matter where your ride takes you. Whether it's a quick trip or a slow climb. When you choose RCV Performance Axles, you're guaranteed to finish every time.